Good morning, everyone. Uh, Beginning of the month of June. So today we're going to have sold.com on. They are, I guess, going to be similar to maybe a Prime Street or an OpCity or any of the other referral-based lead providers that you see out there, except they provide only seller leads. So these are it can be home value leads and other types of seller inquiries regarding their property. So he's kind of going to go over the product, how to get signed up. There's no cost to get into this. It's a referral model, so it's a pay it close type lead. So before we get started with Brett and Sold.com, we have Gary with Tried and True Home Loans. He'll give us a quick mortgage update and let us know how things are going. Good morning, Gary. How's it going?
It's going good, Travis. Thanks for having me on again. Um, so let me share my screen. Do you see my screen meeting 0602-225?
Not yet. I'm gonna stop my share. Okay, yours is starting up. Yep, you're good.
You're seeing, all right, cool. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming on the meeting. So quick look at the rates. This is going to be the conventional 30-year fixed. And I mean, if you want to get any positives from this, it's under 7. It's 6.95. So, I mean, in this kind of a market, we'll take, whatever we can get anyway. 30-year conventional is, well, none of the rates are great at the moment. This is the 30-year conventional. FHA is obviously better. It's always half a point or so better than the conventional, 6.45. And the VA basically follows the FHA, and again 6.45 in that time ballpark at the moment. Really nothing to get excited about. So there's a couple of things causing this rate problem at the moment. One was the tariffs, um, the uncertainty with the tariffs. Last week, last Wednesday, there was a U.S. trade court actually banned the application of the tariffs. So they actually kind of stopped for a while, but then on Thursday, an appeals court let them start again. So there's a whole lot of uncertainty with the tariffs, which with the treasury bonds and mortgage-backed securities, most of the people going into these are kind of conservative. So all this turmoil in the markets isn't good for them. So they're kind of staying on the outside at the moment, which means yields have to go up, which means rates go up, and we're just in a mess right now. I was on the meeting a couple of weeks back, and I was going over the economic numbers, and they all look good. They still do. So the tariffs is one issue. And then May 16th, a couple of weeks back now, Moody's downgraded the US government's credit rating, citing national debt and Washington's ability to manage spending. So this also hit the Treasury yields because it's a higher risk now to invest in the US debt. So the Treasury yields went up, which also drives up the mortgage rates as well. And for us, this leads to reduced buyer affordability, especially for first-time home buyers. So what you should know as an agent, be prepared for rate fluctuations and just help your buyers stay focused on what they can control, get pre-approved as early in the process as possible, get their budget set and timing. With these rates and with all this turmoil, do expect more cautious behavior from buyers and just to educate them on the long-term value of home ownership. I mean, we've had it in the past. I mean, every deal I've done with a buyer, they've always freaked out about how much they're paying for their property. And then years later, they look back and they say, actually, it was pretty good. And it always seems to be, especially in the California market. So just keep them focused on the long-term value. But also, if you are working with sellers, encourage them to stay realistic about pricing, as higher rates may limit the buyer purchasing power. So the bottom line, while the downgrade may stir short-term uncertainty, It's not a reason for panic, but it's a reminder to stay ahead of financial headlines and guide your clients with confidence. So just stay on it. I think it's going to be a short-term issue. It's nothing long-term. Long-term would be more the economy. And like I was saying in the last meeting I was on, that's all good. So it's just a short-term fluctuation, which is kind of causing a blip in the market, but we'll get through it. So, a quick topic on this, something else, sorry. November 20th, 1985, which is what, 40 years ago almost now. So a lot of you on the meeting probably weren't born at this time. But what was so special about this day? Well, it kind of changed our lives quite significantly, because on November 20th, 1985, Windows 1.0 came out. And this is the timeline of the Windows operating systems from 1.0 to 3.1. 95 in 95 was probably the big one that really changed. These first three were like DOS based, but then Windows 95 came out, and then we had a few good ones. ME and Vista weren't that great, but most of them were good. And we got up to Windows 10, which came out July 29th, 2015, which has been a very good system. And I think a lot of us just stuck with Windows 10, even though Windows 11 came out. It's been out, what, almost 4 years now. But most of us have stuck with Windows 10. I have, because it's been a good system. And why fix something if it's not broken? But it is going to be broken, because on October 14th of this year, Windows is going to end support for Windows 10. So that means no more security updates, bug fixes, or technical support. So businesses, yes, even small teams and agents like you guys, will be at greater risk. And so why does this matter for you guys? Well, you handle sensitive client data either on your computer, or you go through your computer to access it in the cloud. So with the outdated systems, you've got a higher risk of data breaches, malware, and phishing. And clients expect you to use the most modern technology to keep that data secure. And when you are doing the DRE continuing education classes, every time I've done it, there's always been a section on data security, because it's important. It's not optional, it's expected. And so what are your options with this Windows change? If you are lucky enough and your computer is compatible with Windows 11, all you have to do is upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. If you're not that lucky, which I'm not, either well, I am on my laptop, I'm just not on my desktop. You can upgrade your computer to meet Windows 11 requirements. Usually that's going to be a processor upgrade, which means motherboard upgrade, memory upgrade. It's a big job. Or the third option is going to be buy a new or used or a refurbished Windows 11 compatible computer. I was just looking at devices from before 2018 often aren't compatible with a Windows 11. So these are your options. So with the end of support for Windows 10, Microsoft is going to end this on the October 14th. So from today, we have 134 days to make that change for those of us who haven't. Sticking with Windows 10 is not an option. It's going to cause issues later on. So we do have to get started on that Windows 10 if you have to. All right. And then if you need to contact me to get pre-approvals on any clients that you're working with, again, like I was saying earlier in the presentation, get the pre-approvals done early in the process. The earlier, the better. That way you aren't wasting your time or your client's time going around looking at homes that they can't buy. Okay, so that's it for me. If you do need to contact me, you can either write down my contact information or scan this QR code. and put that into your phone. But Travis, that's all I have
All
for
right.
me.
Yeah, that's good info about Windows because when we're going through our RPA and things like that, we've got the wire fraud advisory in there, and that's where a lot of wire fraud comes from is because there's malware and there's phishing on our computers or our clients' computers, and they're just looking for opportunities. And they start scanning emails and they start seeing stuff about a home purchase and things like that. And then all of a sudden, you've got a bogus email asking for a wire to be sent to an account, and that's how it happens. So yeah, definitely keep your stuff updated, um, and keep everybody safe. So we're gonna move on to Brett with Sold.com. Brett, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Travis.
All right, awesome. So Brett's with Sold.com. They provide referral, pay at close, uh, seller focused leads for real estate agents. We've partnered with them, so everybody can get this. There's no monthly cost or anything like that. And he's going to go over how this works and how to get your account.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much, Travis. I appreciate it. Good to chat with everybody. So my name is Brett Caltharp, and I'm the VP of Broker Partnerships here at Sold.com. And basically, I was invited on just to kind of help you guys understand what Sold.com is and how to work with this partnership program to have a lot of success. For those of you that aren't familiar with Sold.com, as Travis just shared, we are basically what's called a success fee model as far as lead generation. So when I share the information today, I'm going to tell you all about sold.com. I'm going to talk about our lead types and expectations. Going to talk about the agent experience. How do I work with this company? What do I do to be successful? How to increase lead volume, as well as your dashboard and key takeaways. So I will stop to see if there's any questions in the chat as I go along. I'm pretty thorough, so I'll probably cover as I move along, but I wanted to just kind of call that out. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with sold.com, to the consumer, we're a publicly facing information website. You can see a screenshot on the right. So we have all sorts of articles and information that pertain to homeowners, everything from home improvement, warranty, moving, and then we have two major networks. One is a lender network, so we work with folks like Gary and other mortgage lenders around the country. Actually, I don't know if we work directly with Gary, but that was a great update. So I hope that we do. But then we also have a line with real estate agents. And so through this website, but primarily through an awful lot of advertising that we run all over Google and Meta and everywhere else, we're always looking for ways to capture the attention of homeowners who want to talk about real estate, right? And through those efforts, we generate about 150,000 inquiries per month. So the coolest thing right off the bat, as Travis said, is that it is absolutely free to sign up to be part of our referral network. As I said, we're a success fee company. So the way that our system works is we're going to introduce you to folks, and it's a 35% success fee that's paid on closing should any transactions occur from those introductions. And again, our focus is 100% on sellers. We don't spend a dime marketing to buyers. Very rarely will you have a buyer lead come through. And typically, if you do, it's a seller that's looking to buy. Now, we are generating all these leads ourselves with our goal to number one, make that consumer happy by getting them real estate info, but also to help agents like you to grow your business, grow that type pipeline. Obviously, it's always been important to have a good amount of listing inventory. Real estate, we have a lot of catchphrases. One of the first ones I think I learned 20 something years ago was, list to last. So we want to help you guys with that and help you to have a greater listing inventory. So as I said, most of these folks come in through advertisements that we run across the Google networks, Meta, wherever there's consumer eyeballs, right? And so you've got examples of two of them here on your screen. The one on the left, probably not dissimilar from maybe some types of calls to action that you use in your marketing. I was once upon a time I was director of industry at Zillow. Obviously, the Zestimate put Zillow on the map, really, and it was all about what's my home worth, right? And it has always been a fantastic value proposition to get consumers to interact with you. The ad on the right is a different type that we run. Get a cash offer on your home. I'll talk about both of those. But one thing I want to point out right from the get-go is that most people that come into our ecosystem don't visit sold.com, right? They're going to see an ad like the one on the left. They're going to say, "Oh, cool, valuation," and click that button to take the quiz. Now, the reason I point that out is, it's important that if you get a lead from sold.com that you don't just reach out and say, "Hey, this is Travis from sold.com. I heard you're looking to sell your house." Well, that's not going to line up because you can see it, like they're wanting a conversation about what the value of their home might be. So for every lead we send you, we're going to tell you, did they click on a home evaluation ad? Are they a FSBO that's raising their hand saying, "I'm tired of trying to do it ourselves. We want to talk to an agent." Or, "Hey, we're looking for a cash offer on your home." Um, one of the missteps that agents have typically with our program is when they first start, they're just hyper focused on getting to list the property, which of course is what we all want, right? But look at it as an introduction to meet homeowners that you wouldn't have normally met otherwise, right? The most common type of ad we run is like the ad on the left, and you can see that. And this is going to be top of funnel sellers, right? And what I mean by that, they're just starting to look into what their home may be worth and trying to decide if selling their home is something they should explore doing. Maybe they have a child who's a junior in high school that's going to be a senior next year and they're starting to think about the empty nest. Or the opposite. "Hey, I just found out we're having a baby. We need a bigger place." Or, "We are tired of winters. This is the year we finally retire and move south," right? Whatever it may be. These folks are starting. Now they're top of funnel, but they're not crazy top of funnel in terms of conversion percentages, and I'll talk about that. The ad on the right, I show this one because it's actually our highest performing ad. And it's not because typically you're going to offer, an actual cash offer. Maybe some of you have a bench of investors who are always looking to buy properties. If so, that's fantastic thing to have. Now we have a partnership network with all sorts of vendors in the space, companies, everybody from Top Producer to Spacio, you name it. And one of those is OfferPad. So you can, if you have a property, take it to OfferPad, and if they say, "Yeah, we'd like to buy this house," they're going to pay you a 3% commission. They're going to do all the reno on the house, and then they're going to go ahead and relist it with you and then pay you another commission. But typically, why these are so high converted is most of the time when somebody thinks they want a cash offer, those of you who've been in the industry for a while, they actually don't. The best question to ask right off the bat is, what's the most important aspect of you selling? Do you want to sell quickly, or do you want the highest and best for your home? Right? Because I want to make sure you have the knowledge of all of your options so you're not leaving money on the table. Right? Most of those folks do end up choosing the list, right? So that is actually our highest converting ad. Now, part of the reason I show these ads too is, again, you see the sold.com logo at the top of the ad on the left because you're talking or hearing from a guy talking about sold.com. Ad on the right doesn't have our logo. So again, when you get an inquiry, it's like, "Hey, this is Travis. I received your information that you're looking for a home evaluation. When was the last time you talked to an agent about the value of your home? Or, what kind of questions do you have about the local market?" Right? Just introduce you as you, and that's going to help. Now, all of them did interact with us somehow, but they might not have remembered it was sold.com. So I always like to point that out. But we do generate all these ourselves. And in terms of the listings, you can see neither of these ads say, "I want to sell my house today," right? So when we set you up with appointments or if we send you leads, remember, these are folks that want information about real estate. It's not necessarily, "I want to list right away." So, you want to reach out, you want to provide value. And we do see conversions. Now, we've got some stats on here. I always like to share these. The home evaluation request is probably the most common call to action that's frankly ran by real estate agents, companies, et cetera. And when we look across the entire industry, typically those home evaluation requests, those leads typically go to market within about 12 months. It's a longer cycle. It's 18 to 36 months. Now, for cash offer requests, this is our stat. So for our cash offer requests, 22% of the people who click on those cash offer requests that we connect with an agent list within 12 months. So much higher conversion rates, shorter cycle. Our average lead, which includes home evaluation requests, FSBOs, as I said, you name it, general real estate information, about 17% of these folks list within 12 months. Right? So they're top of funnel, but they convert at an order much higher than your average online lead, particularly your average online buyer lead. Right? So what is it like to work with us? How's this whole process work? Well, we generate our leads primarily through the ads that we run. All of those inbounds come to us at sold.com, and then we put them through, I think, a pretty rigorous verification process. In fact, we actually reject about 40% of the leads that we have come to us at sold.com because they don't pass the verification process. Because we want to verify, is it a real phone number? Is it a real email address? Does the person actually own the property? Is it listed, right? So the folks, those inquiries that do pass that test, come to us at sold.com and their concierge team, and then they're going to reach out to that consumer for 24 hours to try to get them on the phone just to reiterate what kind of information they're looking for. And then their goal is to hopefully walk that consumer down the primrose path to say, yes, I'd like to talk to an agent. So if that occurs, then the consumer says, yeah, I'd love to talk to an agent Thursday at 2 o'clock. We say, okay, great. We'll get you connected with an agent. So then we're going to reach out to the #1 ranked agent in that zip code and say, hey, we have a consumer in 01234 that wants to meet Thursday at 2. Do you want the lead? Yes or no? The first agent to claim now goes out to agent #1. If they don't respond, it goes to agent #2, etc. The first agent to respond and claim that lead gets that appointment. We send the agent's info to the consumer information to the agent, and you're off to the races. So those are appointment opportunity leads. That's usually about 10% of the leads that you get, sometimes 15. It really depends on the market. The majority of leads you're going to get are going to be the folks that we either couldn't reach, or they're saying, yeah, I'd love information, but I'm not quite ready to commit to a time and a date. So those come through as an email lead, right? And again, for those emails, you're going to see their name, their address, and what kind of ad did they click, so you know how to approach them. So when we talk about ranking, when you sign up, and I'm going to share a link in the chat, I'll go ahead and throw it in there right now, actually. It is your brokerage company's specific link. So make sure that when you sign up, you do sign up using this link, because that way you get tagged with that brokerage partnership that we have with Rise. But when you sign up, you're going to give us some information about yourself. How long have you been licensed? Your MLS information. We go back about 18 months and take a look at transactions and sales volume. And then you self-report your last 12 months of transactions, how many of them were buyers and how many of those were sellers. And then you're going to get a ranking, an initial ranking, based on those factors. Now, if you're brand new to the business, or maybe you took last year off to travel, or whatever it may be, your rank will differ for each zip code depending on how many agents we have in that zip code, right? So if you're looking for, in this example, you see Little Rock, obviously bigger city in Arkansas, we might have more agents working it. If this was Van Buren, Arkansas, which is a small little town, we might have 20 agents working it, right? So your rank will differ by that zip code. So what can you do to boost that ranking? Do a good job with our folks. So you're going to have an agent portal that all your leads go into, as well as your email. And you want to log into that agent portal at least once a week just to tell us what you're doing with those leads. And it's simple. Every lead, you click on a button that says update, and you can say, yes, I'm marketing to them. Or I set an appointment with them. Or if you accepted an appointment opportunity lead, let us know you actually had the appointment. What's next? All of those things will help to boost your score. Now, in addition, we do have an optional, you can see the guaranteed display boost. That is an optional add-on that you can do. So if you sign up and you look at your ranking and you're really not happy, I'm 130th in this market or whatever it may be, we do for every one of our zip codes, the top 2 spots are sponsored. Right? So not a lot of opportunity. There's only 2 spots per zip code, but we do offer the ability to pay to sponsor a zip code that will boost you to the top of the list. Likewise, if there's a zip code that you like that's sold out, which a lot of them are, frankly, because we do only have those 2 spots, you could add yourself to the wait list so that if it becomes available to sponsor, you are notified by our team and you can pick that one up. So again, how the process works, our concierge calls the verified leads, and they're either able to schedule a consultation with an agent. We're going to text that opportunity to claim that lead. Or if we can't reach them, those come through as an email lead, right, with their name and address. Now, if you're sponsoring that zip code, you get bonus info. So you get their email and their phone number as well. Either way, we have tons of agents every day who are able to write a letter or door knock or use another website to find contact info that are converting without sponsorship. But that is one of the benefits of you sponsors. We make it a little easier on you, and you get the name and the address. So as I mentioned, lots of ways to increase your lead volume, mostly by just doing a great job with the leads we send you and updating your agent portal. but we do have that guaranteed display. So the full benefits, if you did want to sponsor, obviously, if you go to the top of the list, you're going to get the first opportunity to claim appointments, right? So you'll be that first agent we send that text to. Number two, for appointment leads, we'll reduce that referral fee to 30% from 35%. Now, again, that's going to be about 10% of your leads. So what about those email leads, Brett? Those non-appointment leads, the referred customer leads, we call them. Number one, we're going to waive the referral fee on those. So if you're sponsoring the zip code, and you don't have to sponsor every zip code you work. We have a 3 zip code minimum for sponsorship, but you can say, hey, I work these 30 zip codes, but I'm going to sponsor these 3 because these are my target markets. So for any markets that you sponsor, we waive the referral fee on the non-appointment email leads. So that means unless we created the appointment for you, then you don't pay anything at closing. Whatever you paid to sponsor the zip code, that's all. Number two, you get the full contact details for those referred customer leads instead of just the name and the address. Beyond that, you actually get every lead we generate for that zip code. So for an appointment lead, only one agent successfully can claim that lead. They're the one that gets that information. For a email lead, those referred customer leads, those will go out to 2 to 5 agents. It'll go out to the 1 or 2 agents that sponsors that zip code. They're going to get it every time. And then based on your ranking, you're going to show as other contact options to the seller or to the prospective sellers, and they can pick, yeah, I'd like to hear from that person or that person, right? So there is, again, an exclusivity for the appointment leads, but for the referred customer leads, it will go out to a maximum of 5 agents. Typically, it's 2 to 3 agents is what the consumer picks. So again, the difference is the free network, 35% success fee, whether it's an appointment lead or an emailed lead. Your eligibility for the leads is based 100% on your ranking, and that rank will dictate your opportunity. For the zip code sponsors, no referral fee on the email leads, which again is about 90% of the leads you get. You're going to get all the leads your sponsored zip codes, priority for appointment opportunities, and reduced referral on those appointment leads. So that's great, Brett. How much does it cost? Our usual prices for zip codes, particularly on the West Coast, you're looking anywhere from usually about $75 to $200 per month. So we're very affordable compared to a lot of the other options that are out there. Because we're just launching this partnership with our group through the end of the day on Wednesday, you can sponsor any zip code that's available for a maximum price of $60 a month. And let me tell you, for a lot of the zip codes in California, if you're out there, this could be literally a third of the price that they normally are. So if you're curious about it, you have to register your interest to say, yes, I'd like some information on zip codes. We're not just going to call every single one of you and bug you. We give you the opportunity to raise your hand and say, yeah, I'd like to know what zip codes in my area are available. So you can either scan that QR code, or I'm going to put the link in the chat right there. So yes, so for Sonia, I mentioned the part of the sponsorship as far as cost, but yes, you're going to pay a 30% closing fee above what you've paid for the sponsorship fee only on those appointment leads, which again is usually about 10% of lead volume. If you already have an account, so if you click that link that I put in the chat that says, create your account here, and it says you already have an account, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Just shoot me an email, and what I can do is we can, on the back end, make sure that your account is aligned with your brokerage partnership so you can take advantage. So if you're curious about availability and the zip codes you work, scan that QR code or click the link in the chat that says L Pages and has my name. That will take you to a form. You just tell us your name and what zip code you're interested in, and we'll reach out and tell you how many leads they've had the last 12 months, whether it's available to sponsor, the median home price of the sellers who do reach out to us from that zip code. So you're going to have plenty of information to decide for you, hey, do I want to sponsor or not? So beyond sponsorship, what do we do to support you? Well, we give you this agent portal so you'll be able to monitor how many emails or how many referred customer leads did I get out of the total that were generated in the zip codes I service. How am I doing on appointment opportunities, right? This agent's doing a great job. Offered 32 appointments, claimed 32. That's fantastic. That's what I want to see for all of you guys. But then you're also going to see, how'd I do? And I picked this one because there's good and bad. This agent, they claimed 32 appointments. 9 of those folks have gone on to list. 3 listed with this agent, 6 listed with another agent. And when I spoke with this agent, they basically said, yeah, I probably haven't done as good of a job as I should have staying in touch with folks after I met with them. right? 106 lost referrals. Those are folks that went on to sell before ever agreeing to meet with this agent. So that told that agent, hey, for these referred customer email leads, I can't just ignore them. I need to reach out. I need to provide value. And that way, when these folks do think about actually going to sell, that I'm part of that conversation, right? So you'll have your own portal like this, your own dashboard, so you can measure how am I doing and what can I do to improve the service that I'm offering. Will you get objections? Occasionally, yeah. These are online leads. These are real human beings. I didn't click on anything. Well, spoiler, they did because that's where the leads come from. But as I said, they might not have remembered it was sold.com. So how you approach it matters. I'm not selling my house. That's why you don't come in and say, hey, I understand you want to sell your house. Because a lot of these folks, again, are starting the journey. They're thinking about it, right? So we have tons of scripts and advice that we give you on our support website, which I'll talk about, where we've worked with not only the agents who are having the best success on our platform, but we also have a relationship with Tom Ferry Coaching. So we not only work with Tom Ferry Coaching for a lot of our scripting and the advice that we give, but we actually have a Tom Ferry coach give a webinar every single month, one of his different coaches. And these aren't like the C team coaches. These are the folks like Jason Pantana, Tom Ferry himself, the folks you see on stage at Inman, right? We do these great webinars, and they're not just about sold, they're just good real estate information, right? So again, we have a support website, support.sold.com. If you have any tech issues, which thankfully I have never seen our site down since I've been with Sold. Very rarely do agents have issues. So usually they'll come to our support site to get information, best practices, or, we have an integration with Follow Up Boss. So how do I set up that integration so that my Follow Up Boss works with this, right? So that's all at that support website. We also have, as I mentioned, that marketplace of all sorts of different companies. So take a look at it. You might very well find companies in there that you're already working with, where you can either save money or get a discount or a free trial. And then under the events tab is where you'll find our upcoming webinars, but also recordings of most of our previous webinars. So you're able to really hit the ground running because you're going to have a ton of information ready at the fingertips. So when you're ready to get started, to give advice on how to best have success with the program. So again, expectations and conversion types, these are top of funnel sellers. 17% on average will list within 12 months. For the appointment leads, it's 20 to 22%. The secret is just to maintain follow-up, give value. Because guess what? While that consumer is thinking about whether or not to sell or not, if you're giving them great value, not only is there that consumer, but it's their friends. Or if they're at a dinner party, you're saying, hey, I'm thinking about selling. Well, Travis has been giving me market info, and he's been fantastic. You reach out to Travis. Right now, we don't get paid on those, right? Friends of friends is not part of the agreement. So provide value and win that business. Don't get distracted if you do get the occasional defensive response. And then for yourself, ask yourself, should I sponsor zip codes to boost my lead volume and to give me the best shot of getting those appointment leads? Or, hey, I'm happy to be on the free program. That's what most folks are on. But we do offer the ability to sponsor. So basically your next steps, anybody who's on this webinar will get a portal invite email later today, but the best way is just go to that chat and copy the link that I shared. It ends with broker partnership, Rise Realty. So Mr. Parikh asked, is there a way to try before you buy? Well, that's what most people do, frankly, is they start with the free account. You can work up to 30 zip codes without sponsoring. And your ranking will dictate it, right? So that's what a lot of folks do is they do say, hey, I'm going to be on this base program and see how it works. And then if I want to boost my leads, I'll do that. However, there are folks that they're really saying, hey, I want to really boost my listing inventory. We're coming up on summer. I want to make sure I'm in great shape for the fall. Or you're just not quite happy with your ranking. We do give the opportunity to kind of get the ball rolling and save yourself some money with that discount. So make sure to, when you sign up, fully fill out your profile, particularly with the information I mentioned, your MLS info, how long you've been licensed, all of that, so that you get the best score possible to get you on your way. And again, for that promo, there's that QR code once again, if you do need it, and I will put the other link in the chat. Again, this is you're not signing up for anything, but all you're saying is, I would like to know more information. So Paul, just shoot me, if you go ahead and click on that link that L Pages link, you can still do that after you've signed up, and then that just locks in your discount. But again, it's through the end of the day on Wednesday. All right. So if you have any questions, please shoot me an email in the chat. Always happy to help you guys out. We're really excited to work with your company. And with that, I'll turn it back to Travis. Thanks so much.
Sounds good. Good info there. I appreciate you coming on and the opportunity for the partnership. And, I think one of the key takeaways here is the follow-up and the approach. So I would definitely take a look at the scripts they have for the objections, because with any online leads, I mean, I've been dealing with online leads since about 2004. And yeah, you get the I didn't click on anything and stuff like that, but that's just not true. Like that's how the lead was generated. So, don't hit them with, "Hey, I heard you want to sell your house." Like it's a lot of times with these, it's going to be a little bit of a relationship build until they are ready. And it's one of those things where, having a CRM system is really important. If you haven't checked ours with the company, we use Sierra Interactive. It does do automated market reports and things like that for your seller leads. So it could help you with the nurture process, quite a bit. If you're working with another CRM, see if it does have, some market reports and different things like that, just to help keep in touch with these types of leads, because they are typically going to be there's going to be some nurture process involved. But getting these contacts in, you're just building your opportunity pipeline um, over the course of the next several months, several years. So we need to have as many sources as we can when it comes to lead gen, where we're getting contacts of potentially interested people on either the buy or sell side or both. So this is basically an opportunity creator, where they're doing some vetting up front and then passing the lead along to us. So that's what I do like about the product. Um, we got a lot of links and emails in the chat, it looks like. But if you have questions, just send them over to us afterwards. We can connect you with Brett. He's got, let's see, the link in there plus his email. If you have additional questions about this or the territories, or anything, I guess, that wasn't covered here, that seemed like it was pretty thorough though. So if there's any other questions, Sonia, yeah, if you're interested in the CRM, I can send you the link to that. That's pretty easy. We make that very affordable for everybody. It's $35 just for the basic CRM package. It is a very nice, robust CRM with a lot of extra things that we include with that. So to hopefully help you convert these and buyer leads. It's got a lot of things for buyer leads as well. So um, that's all we have for the questions. We can probably go ahead and wrap up. Again, all the info is in the chat. If you're on your device, you can't get in the chat or something like that, shoot us an email. We'll get you connected so you can get your account set up. So other than that, thanks for coming on, Brett. That was super informative. And we will see you next week, everybody. Talk to you later.